A DoorDash driver who filmed and posted a naked customer and claimed sexual assault has been arrested on felony charges.
The latest villain of TikTok played stupid games and ultimately won stupid prizes. We're going to break down the wild update in the now infamous saga of DoorDash Girl on TikTok and so much more. In today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, my daily show where we take on the craziest ideas from across social media and the internet, all from an independent political perspective. Guys, you may remember this. We did talk about it way back when it happened, I believe last month, but there was this huge saga on TikTok where a girl became the villain of the internet, essentially, especially it was big on TikTok. She essentially was a DoorDash driver. She went to deliver a DoorDash delivery to a man's home, approached the door. She was just supposed to drop it off and leave, but she poked her head in, saw that he was passed out nude on the couch, intoxicated, and then decided to film him, post his nude body on the internet, name him, and I believe also post his address, though I forget if she did that or not. And then actually, she claimed she was sexually assaulted by the whole ordeal, that she had been SA'd, and then thus started a multi-day meltdown as she was then terminated from DoorDash, and then claimed that she had been punished for reporting her SA, which is an interesting interpretation of events. And then, of course, she complained that the police were not doing anything. They were not arresting this man for being naked in his home and having someone illegally film him. Well, there's been an update because now DoorDash Girl just got arrested and charged with 2 felonies. Here is some reporting from TMZ, and then we'll discuss, because I have thoughts. Let's listen.
On October 12, 2025, the DoorDash customer requested that their order be left at their front door. When I arrived at their front door was wide open, their lights were on, and they were sleeping on the couch within eyesight of the front door with their pants and underwear pulled down to their ankles, and they were indecently exposed to me.
A DoorDash driver who filmed and posted a naked customer and claimed sexual assault has been arrested on felony charges. Livy Rose Henderson posted the TikTok claiming that she was sexually assaulted while delivering food. She claims she went to this customer's house to drop off his order, and upon arriving, he was nude on the couch, exposing himself and asleep. She posted the blurred footage on TikTok, but it's since been taken down. Her story has been challenged by Ring camera footage that shows that the customer did not invite her into the home, determining that he was not intentionally exposing himself. Police believe she illegally entered the home and recorded him. She was arrested on November 10th on 2 Class E felonies, unlawful surveillance in the 2nd degree, and dissemination of an unlawful surveillance image in the 1st degree.
So we'll discuss these charges in more depth in just a second, but first I want to remind you guys that she is the victim, as she repeatedly insisted. Take a listen to one of the videos she posted when this was all going down.
So not only did I get assaulted 3 days ago on October 12th on Sunday, I then lost my job. The police are doing nothing. And if I get one more account strike on TikTok, my account's done. This is a man's world. I'm the victim. Remember? I'm the victim. And they took down my video. They were going to have to pay me for my second story time because that was over a minute long. They were going to have to pay me for all those views I got. So nope, they took that right down. They took that right down. Absolutely not. They're not paying me for that. Nope.
Ooh. Anyway, guys, some big picture thoughts here. It was always ludicrous that she claimed to have been sexually assaulted simply by seeing something after peeking her head inside the dude's home. Obviously, nobody should have to see somebody naked without explicitly consenting to that, but that's really not comparable to being sexually assaulted and having your body violated. And that was always kind of a slap in the face to actual victims of SA. At most, you could say it would potentially be harassment, not SA. And even then, not really, because he didn't intentionally do it. It wasn't done for sexual gratification. He was unconscious. You poked your head in his house. You could have just left it on the steps and gone. And then, the question has also been asked, well, why isn't he getting charged with a crime? And a TikTok lawyer who I will reference more later, but her name is Stephanie, and she's a public defense attorney in actually the state of New York, which is where this happened, in upstate New York. Well, she explained that in order to be charged with public lewdness, this case, it wouldn't meet either the public aspect or the lewdness aspect because he was unconscious from alcohol consumption. There was no intent to expose himself to anyone for like gratification of any kind. So there's no crime. And police even said when they investigated, they found that no sexual assault had taken place and that he couldn't be charged with any crime because he hadn't committed a crime. But she obviously had. I mean, she is just dead to rights in these charges. You cannot record inside someone's home without their permission and then claim that you were assaulted. It doesn't matter. You still can't basically violate someone's privacy, surveil them inside their home, and then disseminate that to the masses. She posted unblurred footage of this man naked to millions of people on the internet, and she's like shocked and outraged that she got fired from DoorDash for doing that, for doxing him and posting his name and maybe his address publicly. Yeah, of course they were going to fire you. And ultimately, it makes sense to me that they are hitting her with a charge, because when you look up or listen to the description of unlawful surveillance, it clearly meets that. You can't record inside someone's home when they haven't invited you in, and if you're entering, you're trespassing, and then to disseminate footage that you unlawfully surveilled is a crime. And it's just pretty obvious that meets the definition of what happened here. Now, the one other thing that people are citing in her defense, we're going to go through. But first, guys, do make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Hit the like button while you're at it. Comment with your thoughts on the DoorDash girl situation. And remember to send in your voicemails for our Voicemail Friday episodes, where I react to your woke horror stories, answer your questions, give you advice on your personal lives. The link to send in one of those is in the description. So, the main defense that people have offered about this DoorDash girl and what she did and how she's a victim or how she's justified comes down to a dispute over, was the door open, like wide open, and she walked up and he was there? Or was it cracked and she pushed it open? Or was it closed and she opened it and stuck her head inside? The truth is, we don't really know. It's kind of complicated. But actually, as far as these two particular charges that she's been hit with, it doesn't matter. She still committed those crimes, in my opinion. And I guess we'll see. She'll probably just plea out, and I don't know that she'll actually end up going to jail. But still, let's roll this clip from that TikTok lawyer, Stephanie, who is a public defender, a criminal law attorney in the state of New York, and hear her explain why it doesn't really make that big a difference if the door was cracked open, pushed open, what have you. But that is the thing people keep citing in this woman's defense. Let's listen to Stephanie's analysis.
It doesn't matter whether the door was open or the door was not, whether she pushed the door open or whether she did not, okay? What matters is that she saw a sleeping, unconscious person on a couch, and her first instinct was, hey, I hope he's okay. Or her first instinct was not, oh my God, I hope he's okay. Instead it was, let me take my phone out, record an unconscious person naked on a couch, record that, save it, think, oh, this is a really great idea, let's upload it to the internet and share it with millions of people across the world. The door being open or closed or ajar is irrelevant to this case. What matters is her actions and what she did to the sleeping unconscious person who was naked on the couch, half naked on the couch. Those actions determine criminal liability. Okay? Was that harassing to the person? Did that annoy or alarm the person? Yes. Did he consent to have his bits plastered across the internet? No, he was unconscious. Okay? Did he agree to allow her to post his bits on the internet? No, he did not. No, he did not. Okay? He absolutely did not. Did he agree to be surveilled while unconscious? No, he did not. That's unlawful surveillance. Okay? Was he in the privacy of his own home? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Could you see him directly from the front door? Based on the angle that she posted that video, the answer to that is no. The answer to that is no. She had to look in and look this way. Okay? You can even see her camera going this way to see him. To have to see his little bits and bobs. Okay? So, in a criminal analysis of the crimes that were committed, does it matter if the door was open or ajar? No, it does not.
Yeah, so the TLDR here is that it doesn't really matter if the door was open or not because she still entered it to surveil him or surveilled it in a private area and then disseminated that. That's what she's been charged with. And I do believe that she is guilty and she is not, in fact, a victim in this situation. So to me, there's a couple big picture takeaways here. One is that you cannot, in fact, believe all women blindly because women are people and people are flawed and people are sometimes in the wrong. And so you should always take people's claims or accusations seriously, but especially in the age of performative victimhood and social media and clout chasing. I mean, this woman admitted that she was trying to get her bag from TikTok Creator Fund, getting paid for your views, your millions of views you got from all this. You have to be skeptical of people. You cannot just completely take at face value anybody who claims they were a victim of some kind of assault. The world is not that simple. And that was always a foolish philosophy. And then two, this idea of any time you have any sort of issue in your life, the first thing you should do is record it and post it on the internet is an epidemic. Like, it's really actually getting out of control at this point, and people need to retire that. If she had gone about this totally differently, because I do leave space for the fact that if you were a young woman delivering DoorDash and you walked up to someone's door and they were nude, that would be an unpleasant and jarring experience. And I don't think you should have to experience that. Doesn't mean you were SA'd. You were not. And that is very disrespectful to actual victims of sexual assault to compare that. Just momentarily seeing non-sexual nudity without wanting to is not the end of the world in that kind of a way. However, I mean, to go and then immediately film it and post it on TikTok. If she hadn't done that, she wouldn't have had these charges. She could have done the same thing, but not the performative social media aspect of it, and she wouldn't be facing serious criminal charges in a court in December. She has her next court date in December. So at some point, people need to realize that you cannot play stupid games without eventually winning stupid prizes, and that if you choose to make everything a matter of public controversy and post it on the internet, well, people are going to have their opinions and perspectives on it, and you're opening yourself up for serious accountability, criticism, and scrutiny. And that is what DoorDash Girl is getting. She has been publicly humiliated. I am not happy about that, but I do believe she wronged this man and she is not the victim in this situation. I think it's a giant cluster that really should have never happened at all, but she made it into a social media spectacle. And as soon as that happened, it was really never going to end well for anybody that was involved in the situation. At least that's my take on it, but I definitely want to hear from you guys, hear your perspectives. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Make sure you're subscribed to the like button and all of that. The DoorDash Girl, hopefully this is the final chapter in this saga because this is all over TikTok, but I think that we've discussed it enough after this. At least in my view, I have.